Let's go deeper. In the last session, we saw that the face of a man reveals God's design for relationship. But if we're going to walk in a real relationship, the kind that reflects heaven, we need more than good intentions. We need something many in the church were never taught: emotional intelligence. Now, I know that phrase can sound clinical or even worldly to some, but don't let the language throw you off. At its core, emotional intelligence is simply this: understanding your emotions and using that understanding to build healthy relationships. It's the wisdom to pause before you speak, the self-awareness to say, I need help right now, the discernment to feel what others are carrying, and the maturity to love people without projecting your own baggage onto them. That's not psychology, that's spiritual wisdom. Jesus had perfect emotional intelligence. Let's look at Jesus again, the perfect man. He wasn't just spiritually anointed, he was emotionally aware. He knew when to rejoice, when to grieve, when to confront, when to stay silent. When his friend Lazarus died, Jesus wept. When the Pharisees tried to trap him, he perceived their thoughts. When the woman with the issue of blood touched him, he felt virtue leave. When Peter denied him, he looked at him with love. That's emotional intelligence in action. Jesus wasn't just reacting, he was responding from a place of depth, clarity, and spirit-led understanding. He wasn't ruled by emotion, but he wasn't detached from it either. He moved in truth and love, and that's the balance we're called to walk in. The spirit and the soul must work together. You are a spirit, you have a soul, and you live in a body. And part of growing in the image of Christ means learning to bring those three into alignment. Here's where many believers struggle. They're spiritually awake, but emotionally stunted. They can pray in tongues but can't apologize. They can preach, but can't listen. They can prophesy, but can't control their anger. That's not spiritual maturity. That's spiritual gifting with emotional immaturity. And sooner or later, it will affect every relationship around you. The goal is not just to be on fire for God. The goal is to be whole, spirit, soul, and body, working together in harmony. Emotional intelligence is not flesh, it's fruit. Let me be clear. Emotional intelligence is not fleshly behavior. It's actually the fruit of the Spirit in disguise. Look at Galatians 5:22-23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. You know what that sounds like? Emotional intelligence. Love, the ability to stay connected even when hurt. Peace, the ability to de-escalate tension. Patience, the grace to handle weakness in others. Self-control, the power to manage yourself, not just situations. This is where maturity lives. This is what makes a leader trustworthy. This is what makes a believer magnetic. And this is what builds lasting relationships in families, in ministry, and in the kingdom. Let the Spirit teach you your own soul. Here's the challenge. Most of us were never taught how to sit with our own emotions. We were taught to pray instead of feel, to shout over our pain instead of sitting with God in it. But healing doesn't come by avoidance. Healing comes when the Holy Spirit is invited to help us understand ourselves. The more you understand your own soul, the more you'll reflect the heart of God to others. You'll be less reactive, less offended, more compassionate, more discerning. You'll become a safe place for people because you've learned how to be a safe place for your own spirit. Closing reflection. Let me leave you with this thought. You don't need to be emotionally perfect, but you do need to be emotionally honest. When you partner with the Spirit in your emotional life, you won't just become a better person. You'll become a more accurate image bearer of God. Because the face of a man is not just about what we do with people. It's about who we are when we're with them. And that, family, is emotional intelligence in the Spirit.